All right, guys. Hi. It is February 28, 2020. I have been having problems with audio. Today it was the microphone. For some very bizarre reason, my microphone was simply not being recognized by my computer, though it was on. It has a light. When it's plugged into the USB port, the light was on, and it seems that my defaults are changing. Perhaps even as I'm making a video. I do not know what's going on. The video that I posted earlier and had to take down because no audio? Well, there was audio. Then after that, I'm too tired. I can't. All of the information that I posted in that video, it's going to have to come at another time, but I can't do it now. I do not know what's going on. I had to reboot my computer so many times today. And I started rebooting because I could see that after a reboot, my computer recognized my microphone. And then it didn't. Then it just, the Yeti, that is printed on the recording portion of, within the control panel, it disappeared. It literally just disappeared on its own. I hope this works. Dealing with these kinds of frustrations every single day, it's getting me way too exhausted. We've got a lot going on. There's an awful lot that I want to be posting, and I can't. Because I literally, so many hours are consumed with trying to fix the problems. So I apologize. I don't change anything. They seem to just want to change on their own. The video that I posted with that guy talking about his experience coming back from China into Dulles Airport. Nobody heard it, but it was quite loud. I don't get it. You hear other videos, you didn't hear that video. Yeah, this gets really, when your life is consumed with this kind of stuff, it gets to a point where it's just, I don't know what's going on. So, I'm seeing right now, my voice is being recorded. I see that green that moves with my voice. The green bar, so ex-Fed Governor Warsh sees coordinated global central bank action soon in response to coronavirus. In response to our economy, they may very well be pulling the plug. If anybody, any adult, does not realize that our economy has been a joke, it's been an artificial, just house of cards propped up by the Fed, injecting trillions in total into banks. Any adult who believes that our economy, well, let me ask you this. If our economy was so strong, as has been reported, even by mainstream media, isn't that interesting? Mainstream media went along with that Trump lie. But Carol, mainstream media attacks him all the time. But they don't attack him when he wants to take over a country like Venezuela, when he wants to bomb Syria immediately, when he has not even investigated those chemical attacks let me just bomb. It was Assad. He's an animal. They never attack him when we're going to war, when we're taking over countries. They never attack him about the economy. Isn't that interesting? It's a staged game. You're the audience member watching this staged, very dangerous game that's being played. You're being played like a fool. You want to be a fool? Believe the horse shit that comes out of that guy's mouth, Trump. So, if our economy was really strong, well, as Trump says, we have only 15 with the coronavirus here in the United States. Another lie, but if it was so strong, then why is it collapsing? Why is it collapsing? Because of a virus that a few people have in the United States? Come on. Come on, grow up. Get real. And face the music, because everything is becoming very, very clear. So the central governments are going to be meeting, coming up with a global strategy. It's a move towards global governance. All right. Now, what I find interesting here, the Fed doesn't have a lot of ammunition to help markets and the economy. So it needs to act quickly in a coordinated fashion with other central banks like the European Central Bank, the Bank of England, the People's Bank of China, the Bank of Japan. And then, here's the funny part. We certainly didn't know this virus was coming. But you did. Now, who am I quoting? I'm quoting Wash. Is that how you pronounce this guy's name? Wash? You didn't know a pandemic was coming. Even though, well, you probably know Bill Gates, right? And Billy has weighed in on this coronavirus. Very interesting. He had an article published in the New England Journal of Medicine. He's hardly a scientist. And, so Bill Gates, for years, has been talking about a pandemic. Others have been talking about a pandemic. And in fact, not too long ago, September 20, 2019, the world knows. And apocalyptic pandemic is coming. The United Nations Secretary General warns that there is a very real threat of a pandemic sweeping the planet, killing up to 80 million people, a deadly pathogen spread airborne around the world, could wipe out 5% of the global economy. Well, no, a lot more. And we're not ready. And we're not ready. You know those emergency preparedness drills that come at the expense of the taxpayer? And we've been having them. Oh my God, there are so many. Do the research, you'll find out. Emergency preparedness. A lot of states coming together, in case of a biological weapon. And, well, why aren't they prepared? What's going on? Why is it that the United States, they only have what was the number? I think 30 million respiratory masks, and we need 270 million? Really? Okay, this pandemic, everybody has been talking about a pandemic. So it was an independent analysis drawn up at the United Nations request, the Global Preparedness Monitoring Board. A request from the United Nations Secretary General, World Bank, World Health Organization. So the World Bank was involved, a former World Health Organization head, co-chaired, and the head of the International Red Cross chaired a meeting, but this report was requested by the United Nations, and it essentially gave a scathing attack on the political, financial, and logistical state of pandemic preparedness affairs. Okay, our military has talked about pandemics. Oh, pandemic, pandemic, pandemic. And, well, you're going to hear, we certainly didn't see this coming. It's kind of like 9/11. Oh, we never thought they would use airplanes to fly into buildings. They got those documents just, I don't know, weeks before airplanes used by terrorists. Americans, wake up. Wake up. Smell the coffee. Yeah. Well, all of this. Well, all right. Let me interrupt myself. Have you noticed mainstream media? Have you read any articles about this coronavirus? That a whole lot of them are saying different things, and it's hard to get a handle on what's happening. The information coming out has really been extraordinary. I read articles that have been posted on the same day, mainstream media, different numbers, and one says that it's still unsure if an asymptomatic carrier of this virus can transmit it to other people. And then you go to another article and, well, they talk about the researchers in China saying asymptomatic can transmit the virus. The information coming out has been extraordinarily confusing. And I wonder why. Well, eventually somebody takes control. And all of the information comes out of a central command post like the United Nations World Health Organization. Anyway, I do a lot of speculation. Okay, where is this going? What are they doing? Yeah, the core message has been shouted from the rafters many times before that, yeah, pandemic. So, these people who claim didn't see it coming, it's because the economy collapse. They want people to believe it was the coronavirus when nothing is further from the truth. We all know that. All right, let's listen to this guy. Now, I don't know if any of you heard this today. He actually sounds like a moron.
Okay, so it'll be interesting to see. We're at the same number. A lot of people are getting better, very much better. The 15 number, plus we took it, as you know, from Japan. We took in some great American people and citizens, and they're getting better very rapidly. They're doing very well. All of them are doing well. The 15 people, likewise, we have them down to a much lower number. They're in good shape. Most of them are in really good shape. One of the people is, I wouldn't say not doing well, but she's very sick, but she's hopefully getting better. But we're at the same number. Essentially we've only had 15, and a lot of that's because I called it early. We made a decision very early to close up our borders to certain areas of the world, and we did that. And so we are hopefully getting lower from that number, but let's see what happens into the future. Some countries are doing well, some countries are not doing well. You can see that for yourself. And a lot of things are happening. We're very well organized. We have great talent, great doctors, great everyone. There's
Oh,
tremendous
God.
spirit, a lot of spirit. And as you know, with the flu, on average, we lose from 26,000 to 78,000 people a year, even more than that in some cases, some years. We haven't lost anybody yet, and hopefully we can keep that intact. There have been no deaths in the United States at all. A lot of that's attributable to the fact that we closed the border very early. Otherwise, it could be a different story.
All right,
So
listen. How can you attribute that to closing the border early? It must be attributable to our fabulous, our incredible medical profession, right? Okay, it's not because you closed the border early that we've had no deaths. Oh boy. Everybody's great, by the way. Everybody, great Americans, and yeah, everybody working on this is great. Everybody's great. Now I'm great because I made that decision to close down travel from. He doesn't even say China. He says, that place where, there were a lot of cases. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But everybody's doing fabulously, and he's mentioning only 15 cases. Why? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Well, yesterday it was 60, but apparently today, well, it's like, I'll get to that in a moment. But Italy, okay? Italy, out of control. Rising numbers of those diagnosed with coronavirus, people dying, cities on lockdown. But that's been going on for a while. And he's asked by a reporter, what about Italy? Are you, while we're thinking about, what we're going to do about Italy and testing people, it's, coronavirus precautions. International travelers arriving at JFK concerned by lack of screening. Okay, we're doing such a great job, and it's all because I made that important decision early on to curb that travel from that city where a lot of people were diagnosed. It's called Wuhan, but hey, we're just not going to mention it. You can listen to the whole thing. But he truly, oh man. All right, so, lack of screenings. Now, you heard, well, if you clicked on the link below and watched that guy's video, you heard. He came in from China, Beijing. They have cases in Beijing. And, well, he was asked, were you in Wuhan? He said no. Well, do you feel sick? No. Well, welcome home. Oh, that's it. No temperature reading, no advanced testing, nothing. So, here, people coming into JFK appalled by a lack of screening, especially compared to procedures in the countries they just left. Countries, not just one. They weren't asked a single question about potential symptoms once they landed in New York City. We didn't even get checked like we're used to being in Florence, Italy, where you get your temperature checked. Here they didn't do anything, which is kind of crazy. That's from one of the travelers. Currently, the United States is only conducting health screenings for passengers who are flying in from China. Why? Coronavirus now is in 60 countries. Why? That doesn't make any sense. But Italy? Italy, a Western country where, it's pretty much, well, a lot of people are saying it's out of control. South Korea. What about South Korea? Have we heard about any advanced testing of those passengers getting off flights from South Korea? No. So, yeah, it does seem a little bizarre. All right. Well, I've said, a lot of the information that we're receiving about other countries may very well be, just abject lies. They've got to keep this pandemic scenario going, but it could also be true. We don't know. But, the information that we're getting and then listening to this guy, it's like, oh my God. All right. Well, all right. So 15 cases. We still just have 15 cases and everybody's doing great and everybody's getting well. Oh, well, except one. And hopefully she'll get better. But everybody's doing great. And of course, anything great has to be attributed to his decisions. Unbelievable. Unfriggin' believable. These narcissistic pigs that Americans go, oh my God, he's great and I love him. Oh, God. Truly sickening. So, coronavirus quarantines in U.S. appear inevitable? No.
About all of it with CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus. He's going to help us understand the latest. So we just heard Carter report that the patient in California was not diagnosed for days because they were not tested. Where are we on the question of testing and also quarantines? What's the latest?
Well, that patient didn't meet the CDC criteria for testing, so obviously the criteria were wrong. And we are now testing people who present to a hospital with an unexplained pneumonia. The problem is there are not that many tests around. So when you look at the numbers, and this happened in China, we say, well, the death rate was 2.5% in China. It was because they're only testing people who are really, really sick. 81% of people who get this or just have mild symptoms, and so most of them haven't been tested.
So the CDC criteria has now been expanded so that patients like this are tested. But what is the test, and why is it so specialized?
So this is an RNA virus. You have to take it, you have to convert it to DNA, then you have to amplify it and see how much DNA is there.
All right, you can listen to the full video, but there are so many people who are communicating very different information than this guy. And maybe that's why he decided to gag government scientists and experts. They have to go to Mike Pence to get permission to have any kind of media appearance or to state anything publicly. They got to run it by Mikey. And if Mikey says okay, then they can speak publicly. Do you know that this guy, and this I just found out today, and I'll link below to the article, has gagged EPA employees, State Department employees, Department of Agriculture, and another department. Back in 2017, I just learned that today. Why? Why has he put a gag on so many people? Well, yeah, just gagged more. Right after Pence, and he, did that speech yesterday, and everything's fine. Everything is just great. And I'm great, and Mike Pence is great, and Azar, he's great, and Fauci, he's great. We're all doing a fabulous job. And we're going to silence everybody involved, those scientists and the experts, because we've got to get control over the narrative. Well, it's... If everything was hunky-dory, you wouldn't have to gag anyone. Well, 11 cases of coronavirus confirmed in San Antonio. Oh, okay. That's interesting. This is according to the CDC. 11 cases in San Antonio. All right, so now we're up to 71 cases? No, it's 15. It's 15. It's 15. It's 15. And they're all doing great because I made this decision early on. I'm great. Everybody's great. We really have Trump supporters in this country, huh? Oof. And no, no. Do not think that because I just said that, it means I'm supporting Democrats. Oh, no. I graduated from junior high school. It was pretty surprising I did, but I did. I graduated from high school. I actually went to college. You know, um, something's wrong with Americans that they allow these people to lead them. State officials announce Oregon's first presumptive case? A presumptive case. What does that mean? Well, they're presuming someone has the coronavirus. They're presuming it. They're presuming it. It's not conclusive, not diagnosed. They're presuming that they have a case in Oregon. This is bizarre. And they even held a press conference on it, a presumptive case. Okay, why don't you hold the press conference when you figure out if that person has coronavirus? Well, I guess they just wanted to be proactive in scaring the shit out of Oregonians. Our country is so flippin' insane. I can't stand it. LA County fails to acknowledge that the coronavirus can spread when patients are asymptomatic, and says person who tested positive didn't cause a threat to anyone because they were not showing symptoms. This needs to be fixed immediately. Health alert. Why can't people get it together? What's going on here? Experts, government officials, authorities. Could this be deliberate? To bring about all right, we definitely need one voice in this. One voice coming out of central command. Stop these crazy leaders from just saying, I guess, whatever the hell they want to say. 54 people in Riverside County self-quarantined to monitor for coronavirus. Okay, these self-quarantines and monitoring. What does monitoring mean? Does it mean that they isolate themselves? No. They go about their business. So they may have the coronavirus because, well, they're being monitored. And are they actually being monitored by, like, CDC doctors or... no, I think they call in their temperatures or something. They've got to take their temperature a few times a day. But they're going out. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. When you have no testing whatsoever going on at airports, when you have hey, you quarantine yourself and you have monitoring where people are just going out. You have asymptomatic people and they are having an awful lot of contact with people. They're saying that this is a person-to-person transmittable disease, sneezing, within 6 feet, these droplets can travel. So somebody sneezes and boom, it hits you in the face if you're, 5 feet and 11 inches away. But those people those great people, they were great. Great Americans repatriated from Wuhan, right? Well, and they were quarantined for, I think, 14 days. But everyone who met them, they had no masks. They had no protective gear on. A whistleblower from the Department of Health and Human Services has come out and stated nobody was wearing any protective gear, no masks, nothing. So, what does that mean? Well, the virus could have been passed on to them. And that whistleblower, by the way? Yeah. Well, don't tell the truth, because you'll be destroyed. She apparently has been told that she'll be working in some other position at the Department of Health and Human Services. And if she doesn't accept the deployment of her position, within 15 days she's fired. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. People who tell the truth get destroyed. People who lie get promoted. That's the country we're living in. So, we've got an awful lot of, we've got tens of thousands actually, when you add it all up, who are monitoring, self-monitoring. So will the numbers go up? You know, if this is a real virus and it is transmittable person to person, and oh, I think so. I think so. But this guy will just keep, you know, he's the most outrageous liar that I've ever seen. So he'll just keep it up. So, Costco sells out of emergency food kits. I hope you guys... Let me ask a question too. How many of you have the resources to stock up on food and water and essentials? How many? And don't be embarrassed to say that you don't. But throughout the years of being on YouTube, more and more of my subscribers have gone down. And I'm just wondering. I hope it's no one. But my hunch is it's actually a number bigger than I'd like to see. So, visitors to the emergency food kits and supplies section of Costco's website, we're sorry, no products were found. Oof. Okay, what else? They have sold out of their 4,999 pallets, $5,000 for a year's worth of food. But they do have the 23-pound mac and cheese buckets with up to a 20-year shelf life. Ooh, yeah, that sounds good. Huh? Plenty of 12 to 25-pound bags of rice. The Mormon Church has a handy guide on their website for the best foods to buy or avoid. Click on this hyperlink. Yeah, they have Mormons that are told to have emergency food supplies. And it's also funny because, I was actually going to post another video last night. And what happened? My capture program crashed. And I didn't know that it crashed until I was trying to save it. Something interrupted. I can't remember the message. And that's happening way too many times. It does get incredibly frustrating. When you do all this work, when you do the research, then you get the video finally done and you lose it. So, if you don't know what to stock up on, you might want to check out the handy guide. It's for 90 days. But all of these leaders, That was part of the video that I was going to post last night. Leaders, Scott Morrison, Australia, Macron, France, other countries, and I can't remember now. They are already implementing their emergency plan. They're putting in place all the ducks that they need in a row for the virus to, for it to spin out of control. Scott Morrison essentially called it a pandemic, and that Australia needs to take action now. He's talking about those in the remote sections of Australia. Well, things aren't going to be so good for you. Getting supplies out to remote areas. Hospitals will be overwhelmed. And I guess that announcement of Scott Morrison yesterday came about because this expert, McKay, is that his name? A professor, expert in infectious diseases, said everyone in Australia will get the coronavirus. Wow, everyone. All right, well, I hope you're stocking up, guys. So, Organic Prepper also has a useful guide. All right, if you don't know what to get, you might want to check out things. But here, more videos of Italy, the supermarkets empty, and Hawaii, they were running out of food. And in fact, I think it was a government official in Hawaii who came out and said, make sure you stock up on toilet paper. Okay, so updates. Yeah. All right, let me just read the headlines. People are getting better. Everything's fine. I hope it saved my highlighting. Google employee diagnosed with coronavirus. No, it didn't. Great. Amazon tells employee to pause non-essential travel. Travel, man, is, wow, down now. Here it is. White House Chief of Staff Mulvaney urges public to turn off TV. Journalists are ratcheting up fears to try to hurt President Donald Trump politically. Everything is about Donald Trump. Everything is about Donald Trump. They want to bring him down, so they're going to lie about the coronavirus. Oh, okay. But he did say, this Mulvaney, all right, so stop watching these journalists. They're ratcheting up fears. But he also said that, well, we'll probably have to close schools and transportation issues. There will definitely be an impact. But all of it is just to bring the president down. A dog in Hong Kong tests positive for the coronavirus. Russia is exterminating stray animals. All right. The dog, listen to this, weekly positive, but scientists aren't sure if the dog is actually infected. Okay, fabulous. North American auto production proceeding at pace, without any evidence of major supply chain disruptions, which may be ahead of us, but so far everything's fine. Hospitals are just not ready for coronavirus, World Health Organization. Health systems, even in more advanced countries, are not ready. We've already seen in countries, in quite sophisticated countries, who've had a rapid rise in cases in the last week. They're having trouble coping with the clinical caseloads. CDC came out, gave an ominous warning of our healthcare system collapsing. Yeah. World Health Organization raised the bar very high. Not a pandemic yet, but it's very high. Oh, well, it's very close to it. United Airlines slashes travel to Tokyo, Osaka, Singapore, Seoul, South Korea. Delta Airlines said earlier it's cutting its flights. This is major, guys. Moscow deports 88 foreigners for violating coronavirus quarantine. New York City test patient recently returned from Italy. Oh, how sweet of you to test one returning from Italy. Oh, I think there has been many more. Mexico confirms first case. New York City pathology specialist says U.S. needs to ramp up capabilities. Former Fed governor says he expects coordinated global central bank response. U.S. malls will be hit hard, as if they can take the blow, because malls are dying. U.S. markets set to continue losses. Azerbaijan, Belarus, Lithuania, New Zealand, Nigeria confirmed their first case. Iran's death toll 34, but some speculated at 240 or something, that Iran is lying about the numbers. Don't know, but very important to just check out what's going on. California health officials confirmed second coronavirus diagnosed from community spread. So, it does seem that it's spreading. It's spreading. And let's see. We are watching the stock market do things that it never has before. So let me just end with this. We're screwed. We're screwed. It's bad. I think, what was the number? 31 plus. 3,100 plus down. And a whole lot of people are saying this is the big one. So still have your money in the banks. Let's see, Goldman Sachs warned that American companies will generate no earnings growth in 2020. Guggenheim's Scott Minard says the coronavirus crisis is possibly the worst thing he's ever seen in his career. This has the potential to reel into something extremely serious, travel industry being hit particularly hard. Do you know that our antibiotics 80% of them come from China? FDA came out and said, we have a drug shortage, but they didn't say what the drug was. So, cases doubled in France in 24 hours. In my entire lifetime, I've never seen anything like this for a long time. Maybe have been watching for the trigger event that would burst the biggest financial bubble in the history of the planet. Trigger event appears to have arrived. Michael Schneider. There are more updates if you want to check them out. But it's spreading rapidly. Real or not, doesn't matter. That's the information that we've got to work with. Spreading in the United States, despite what the greatest liar says. And yeah, things could change overnight. No joke.